lot of people believe there's more than one person involved, where are the footprints? There's no drag marks, there's no scuff marks, there's nothing that shows there was any type of fight. If you have two assailants in that home, why do you have to get physical with somebody 84 years old? You can control her without hitting her. I don't have anything right now, factually, that dictates there was more than one person.
So today I am joined by Sheryl McCollum. She is an active crime scene investigator for a Metro Atlanta Police Department. She is also the author of the book Swans Don't Swim in the Sewer, Solving the Cold Case of the Flint River Killer's Daughter. Sheryl, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jakson.
Of course, you've been outspoken about the Nancy Guthrie case before, and I'm interested to hear from a crime scene investigator's perspective. Is there anything that sticks out to you about the primary crime scene, Nancy Guthrie's house? Are there any details about that crime scene that might tell a different story to what the public knows?
You know, for me, I would have to say there's two things. One, from the video, the way he manipulates those flowers is so strange to me. I can't stop thinking about it. And then the other is obviously right there, the blood spatter. There are four separate, to me, patterns there. So there's the drops, the 90-degree angle drops that you see that look like it might be from a nosebleed. Then there's the medium to high velocity spatter that some people have said they think that it's drops within a drop, but I don't. I think it's where she coughed. And then down from that a little bit, there's a transfer print. It looks to me, Jakson, like there was blood on somebody's hand right here and maybe on their palm where they just touched down. It almost looks like a Rorschach test, the thing where it looks like a butterfly or different animals to somebody. And then down a little bit further, there's a clear swipe where it was a clean surface and something that was bloody went right past it. So those four distinct different patterns tells me there was movement. And the thing that I find the most curious is that a lot of people believe and have been very outspoken that there's more than one person involved. Where are the footprints? Somebody would have been in front of her, leading her out, and there would have been a second person. There are no, footprints in that blood at all. There's no drag marks. There's no scuff marks. There's nothing that shows there was any type of fight. So the blood is very interesting. The flowers are very interesting. And I have been very outspoken. Obviously, as a crime scene investigator, they released it way too early.
Mm-hmm. And judging by the blood splatter patterns, you mentioned a nosebleed before, but is there anywhere else going off of these patterns that you think Nancy Guthrie was struck?
I mean, she could have been struck in the nose or the mouth, but if you look at the patterns, the little round ones, the 90-degree drops, some of them have what we call like a half moon. They're clear. That's indicative of oxygen. Air was in that drop. So again, I tend to think nose or mouth for sure.
And so, you say that there's no footprints there, right? But are you also intimating that you think one person was involved instead of two?
Again, I'm going to go off the evidence. We have somebody at the front door. We have one person. We have somebody that surveyed and was stalking the house before, whether it's, the January 11th date or the 24th date. It's one person. We don't have drag marks. We don't have scuff marks. We don't have footprints. I don't have anything right now, factually, that dictates there was more than one person. Now, again, when you start talking about what you believe or what you think, that's like a theory. That's not facts. So I'm literally just going off the blood, the lack of a secondary set of footprints, the lack of another person on video. Where's the other person? Why don't we have it? Why haven't they said, the back door caught this person or a ring camera caught 2 or 3 people crossing the backyard? We don't have that. So just what I have so far, we have somebody caught on video more than once. We have no bloody footprints coming behind Nancy that we know of that we can see. And so for right now, it's one person. And here's the other reality. It's a whole lot harder to keep 3 people quiet when there's $1 million on the table and ain't nobody tried to touch that money.
Let me put you in a hypothetical. Let's say that you arrive at the crime scene and you're presented with the evidence that you currently have at your disposal. What tactics are you utilizing to your advantage to try and build a profile on the person that did this?
One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to put up double tape. So I'm going to put tape up around my crime scene, and then I'm going to have a secondary tape basically making a track, Jakson, so that, people that come there that are higher ups, whether it's the chief of police, the sheriff, somebody that is involved with the FBI, they can walk the whole perimeter without entering my scene at all. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a media staging area as far down that road as I can to my left, and I'm going to put our command center as far down the road as I can to my right. I don't want these people following me. I don't want these people right here at her front door. We've seen it. We've seen people walk right up to her front door, follow FBI agents down the road, literally filming them walking side by side. That just shouldn't happen. I would also put some tents up. You would not see me take a big old stick and start, searching manhole covers and sewers and things like that. That wouldn't happen. Again, she's got grandchildren and children, and I would be really aware that they're going to probably watch this. So I wouldn't have that happen. One of the things that I would have done, I would have kept it open until I was satisfied we had gotten everything. I would have kept it open until I knew whether or not we were going to have video. And the reason is I may think or believe where he may have, entered the home, where he may have exited. I want to know for sure. That video is going to tell me. She also has some cameras on the inside. Where is the blood inside the house? What does her bedroom look like? Savannah and the sheriff have been very clear that she was pulled from her bed. So I can only imagine that her comforter and her sheets show that they were maybe drugged to the floor. When was she hit? When does the blood start? Why do you have to hit her? That's another reason I think it's just one person. If you have two assailants in that home, why do you have to get physical with somebody 84 years old? You can control her without hitting her. That's not necessary. So that tells me this person wanted to be violent. This woman's got a heart condition. She can't walk very far on her own. There ain't no reason to hit her. If you surprise her at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning wearing a mask beside her bed, honey, you're in control of that scene. She's going to do everything you tell her to do. So the fact that you had to pull her out of bed, the fact that she's bleeding, you're violent. So that backpack we know is stuffed with something, Jakson. I don't know what it's stuffed with, but I know it don't take 41 minutes to get an 84-year-old woman out of that house. So whatever he had, he used. He went mission ready. And that's a concern that I have, but it also tells me it's one person.
Just for clarity, what do you mean by 41 minutes?
I mean, he's in the house for so long. So if you know when he's at the front door, and we know approximately when the phone detached, from her pacemaker, that's an extraordinary long period of time. What was he doing? You kick in the back door, you go to the bedroom, you grab her, you drag her out, you throw her in the car, you're gone. You ain't talking about 7 minutes. We've got 21 minutes. We've got 30 minutes. We've got a longer period of time than it would take for anyone to kidnap somebody. So again, that's telling me that might not have been what this was. It's telling me that he was targeting her for whatever reason he was targeting her, but it doesn't appear in any way to be a traditional kidnapping. Even look how he acts at the front of the door. He ain't in a hurry. He saunters up. I think he's going toward the window because, the door has windows on either side. He's maybe trying to look in. He sees the camera. He does that weird thing with his hand where he's not really, covering the lens. It's almost like he's making the letter C. That's weird. His pistol, it's all wrong. The way he's carrying the handgun is wrong. He looks ridiculous. He's got a mouth light. He's got a backpack that's filled. Well, then he turns around and he engages the mouth light on the ground like he's looking for something. Then he goes to these flowers. Once he gets the flowers, he pulls some of the leaves off and then breaks them, comes back to the camera, and is trying to manipulate them to like almost hang them on the camera itself. Very strange. But again, he's not damaging the camera. He's not getting rid of the camera. He walked past 100 rocks, Jakson. Who walks past all those rocks when all he had to do is just bust the camera real quick? But he's fooling with these flowers. I believe this person is not well. I think mentally he's got some challenges going on, and that's what we're seeing. Because every single expert I guarantee that you have talked to has told you the handgun is odd, the placement is odd, the flowers is odd, the way he reaches for the doorknob first and then goes immediately to this weird thing where he's not covering the lens. You can still see his face the whole time. It's just odd. Why do you take her? Why do you hurt her? Why do you not ransom her immediately? Why are you not leaving a ransom note right there? Everything he does makes every expert say, I've never seen this before. I think the reason you've never seen it before is because he's not okay.
Interesting. So it's evident that you've studied this case extensively. And I'm just wondering, do you have a profile in your head of this person? Because you just mentioned that you think this person isn't well, and you referenced his behavior walking up to the door and conducting the crime. Who, in your experience, do you think did this?
I'm not a profiler, but I can tell you as a crime scene investigator, a junior burglar is not going to walk up to an iron door that has another door behind it. That's very difficult to break into. That takes a lot of time. That takes tools. He doesn't take anything out of the backpack that we can see. We know the lights are also damaged on the back of the house near the back door. Maybe that's how he got in. We don't know. But I do know where they exited because I know where Nancy's bleeding, and that's at the front door. I know he tried, to at least take, almost a minute there at the front door. So to me, what you're looking at is somebody that is not a professional, but had a reason, his own reason, to gain entry into that home and do whatever damage he did.
There were no signs of forced entry at the scene, and I'm wondering what that tells you about how this was conducted.
Well, again, if you go back to the video, when he's doing this the first time, you can see his other hand. He's reaching for the doorknob to test it. Maybe when he was there before, the door was unlocked. Maybe he got rid of the lights but went into the back door. Maybe it was open. We've heard other people that live in that community that say there's never been an issue and people tend to leave their doors open. Maybe he was testing that first, but I don't know. Again, I didn't see any tools. I didn't see any damage to the front door. We haven't really seen the other doors, but it looked to me like the sliding glass door was intact. And again, if this person was a pro, he would have been in and out. If he was a burglar, why drag her out of bed? Even if he heard her screaming, like, who's there? He could easily just grab her cell phone. There's no way she could call the police and he could get out of there. But her cell phone is behind, her hearing aids are behind, her Apple Watch is behind. It just doesn't sound like somebody that knew what they were doing. He thought about the beginning. How do I gain entry? I don't think he thought about the ending. What do I do if this goes south?
And how often is it that you see cases like these go cold? Because obviously there's not a lot to go off of, it seems like, at the crime scene. Do these cases go cold, and are they ever solved?
Well, you can always have a case go cold, whether it's a kidnapping or a homicide. If this had been my case in the beginning, I would have worked this case like a homicide. If you're wrong, great, you've done no harm. But if you're right, then you've done it correctly from the beginning. So again, if they had believed this was a homicide, they would not have released it. I think they would have brought dogs in quicker. I think they would have brought the FBI in quicker. So in order for a case to be cold, Jakson, you're talking about no more leads, no more witnesses, no more evidence for 3 years. This case is not cold. They are actively waiting on DNA. They are still actively talking to neighbors and the general public. They are still trying to track down maybe who sold him a weapon, maybe who had a weapon stolen. It looks to me like it's a 9mm, but the holster is wrong. It doesn't fit. It's like a one-size-fits-all, real cheap holster. Maybe somebody would remember this kid coming in and buying it. He looks young to me, so I would say 30 or under. again, just a guess, but it doesn't appear that he's 60. You know what I mean? Like, he seems pretty young. Again, he doesn't seem real experienced, but for whatever reason, he wanted entry into that home. You got to remember, he selected January the 11th and the 24th and the 31st. He did that. So why? Why that house on those days? They're only weekend days. They're only Saturdays and Sundays that we know of. So does that mean he works out of town during the week? Does that mean he's in school during the week? You would hopefully be able to shrink your suspect pool a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point, because he only did the dates that they're referencing were on weekends, which would suggest that he has somewhere to be during the week. It also sounds like you're pointing out a lot of flaws with regard to the investigation tactics, whether it be the FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Office were utilizing. How would you rate their methods of investigation as it pertains to this case?
I don't know everything that they're doing. Obviously, we only know what they've told us so far. But if you watch what's being done and Jakson, what's not being done, a picture's being painted. One thing I would love to see that I have not seen is a press conference with all three, the sheriff, the FBI, and the family. We have not seen that. I haven't seen the Guthrie family stand with law enforcement at all. They've made their own videos in private without them. I would like to see that, hey, we're a team here. This is a full court press and we are standing together. We're working together. I think it would help people. When you go this long without a press conference, all you're doing is feeding into these conspiracy theories. And that's not fair to anybody. So I would like to see more communication, and I would like it to be as a group.
Sheryl, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. You've been fantastic.
Jakson, thank you so much. This has been a great time.